Pleasure. This amendment be withdrawn. The amendment is by leave withdrawn. Amendments 44 and 45, Lord Addington, not moved. Amendment 46, Lord Fuller.
I rise to speak to my amendment number 46. My amendment seeks to ensure that the organisers of the big events can be assured of an adequate supply of flexible labour and human capital to make the tournament a success in the few weeks every decade that the circus rolls into town. And as we've seen with the World Cup this week and the Olympics in 2012, a month-long tournament can unite a nation. My grandfather ran in the 1932 Olympics. He was Britain's fastest man. And at that time, the Olympics helped dig America out of its Great Depression. Sport can do these things. It's why we want these events. Now, in sport, of course, the favourite doesn't always win. And you've sort of got to feel sorry for the French because they'd booked the tickets all the way through to Sunday and now they're flying home. So there are no guarantees.
If your grandfather was the fastest man, can you speed up your peroration so we can get to the World Cup?
I'm reminded by the Deputy Speaker to the left of me that I've got 15 minutes. I do not intend to take that amount. Look, so there are no guarantees, not in this game. Now, in 2012, there were 70,000 games makers who contributed 8 million hours. There were many other employees, broadcasting, catering, cleaning, merchandising, ticketing, security, cleaning, bar work, selling ice cream, all the way from Stratford to Portland Bill. Let's say 150,000 people in total. And we celebrate it because without those 150,000 people, the Games wouldn't have been a celebration at all. Now, the problem is that these are temporary events, and mobilising the sort of temporary labour is now illegal. The Employment Rights Act means that the sort of ad hoc work that these tournaments need cannot be offered to people without a guarantee. And that is incompatible with games of uncertainty, depends on personal performance, individual events and knockout stages. So the only conclusion I can form is that the government expects the organisers and contractors to underwrite these guarantees. The people selling beer, ice cream, but who would sign up to such open-end liabilities? The government says it wants to sweep away the uncertainty of risk of the big events from being in this country, but let's be clear, the Employment Rights Act provisions insofar as labour is concerned add high costs and regulatory risks, risks that exist nowhere else in the world. So my amendment is intended to be helpful. They only happen once every decade. They're obviously temporary. We know the hours can't be guaranteed because that's the way they work. And so my amendment carves out the ad hoc employment from the Employment Rights Act, but only insofar as events that fall within the Sporting Events Bill are. Because I want people to take part to support the delivery of the tournament, put their shoulder to the wheels, grow as individuals and make the Games a success. So the government either wants to host these events or it doesn't. Nobody wants to host these more than me. So let's empower our negotiators and give them every chance of success, not hobble them with additional rules and regulations that don't apply elsewhere and potentially damage the enjoyment and pleasure of going to the game and give us the agony once more of coming second in that penalty shoot and tie-break against other more enterprising nations who will beat us to the podium for the hosting rights. I beg to move.
Amendment proposed. After clause 25, insert the new clause printed on the marshalled list.
Lords, can I just inform the House that although I did advise my noble friend that he had 15 minutes, I also advised him I didn't think he would be very popular if he availed himself of the full 15, and I was right.
My Lords, as we reach the final moments of play in report stage, I'm pleased to turn to Amendment 46 in the name of the noble Lord, Lord Fuller. It is clear that in some circumstances 0 hours contracts and contracts guaranteeing a minimum hour of numbers can benefit both employers and workers. However, without the appropriate safeguards, the flexibility they provide can operate disproportionately in favour of employers, leaving workers with greater uncertainty over their working patterns and income. Any exclusions or exemptions introduced at this stage risk preempting the outcome of the government's ongoing consultation on reforms to 0 hours and similar contracts. Through this consultation, the government is seeking evidence and views from stakeholders on reforms to 0 hours and similar contracts, including whether any exclusions or exemptions may be appropriate. It's important that the views of all stakeholders are fully considered before any decisions are taken on potential exclusion or exemptions. The government's objective is to ensure that all jobs provide a baseline level of security and predictability, enabling workers to better plan their lives and finances. We encourage stakeholders from the sporting event sector to engage with this consultation and help inform the development of the policy. I would like also to note, in response to the Noble Lady Baroness Morris's point, that nobody would have believed that she would have encouraged Noble Lord Fuller to speak longer than necessary, given the circumstances. And with that, my lords, I will blow the final whistle on my remarks, but look forward to continued commentary and debate both on the bill and tonight's match. I know all noble lords wish the England team the best of luck and hope indeed that football is coming home. On the basis of the points I've made, I hope the noble Lord Fuller will withdraw his amendment.
Well, my lords, I regret to say that the VAR review has said we may need to go into extra time on this. Look, it's a serious matter, and it gets to the heart of how serious we are about hosting these events. We need to encourage participation by individuals and everybody else to give opportunity to millions. I'm really sorry, but I'm not satisfied with the answers that have been given. I do intend to divide the House, and then we can all go and watch the game. Come on, England.